Hey y'all, it's September the 22nd, 2016.
Alright, and I want to talk to you very quickly about Charlotte, North Carolina. You might understand that they're under some nightly riots. I don't know if it's going to be a riot tonight, but they've been for the past couple nights. And riots. Reasons because a dude got shot. Alright? I'm not a racist. In fact, I don't even believe in y'all's racist, but just for the sake of y'all understanding, it was a black man who was shot. It's what you would call a black man. He was shot, killed by the police. And the police have been turned into something that, as a whole, has a race. And that race is white. What y'all would call white. Alright? And I've heard a whole bunch of stories about the shooting. Here's something we do know. The policeman, he was actually a black person. What y'all would call black. The police chief of Charlotte, black. Alright, so white people weren't even involved in this. I know there was that Tulsa shooting, and that we would touch on that some other time. But white people weren't involved in it. It's just black people. Alright, and I've heard different stories, like I said. One was that he was reading a book. This man in his car waiting for his son. And then I heard he was reading a book at a bus stop. Waiting for his daughter or something. And then I heard we're going to have to check up on all these, double check up on all these to make sure that what I heard was correct. But what I heard is he has 7 children. This man. He has a lengthy criminal record. 7 children. Doesn't really have steady employment. Alright, so he's what you would call a black man. Right? And he seems to be living in a neighborhood that's also full of what they refer to themselves as black people. Alright, in all seriousness, more than likely where he was living in the hood, you could imagine that fella's living in the hood. Right, and just to cover some of my personal experience, I've been to the hood. In San Antonio, Texas, the west side, you don't really want to be in there if you're not from there. You don't want to go. And there's other parts of the city that you could slip into the hood on accident. The east side, I've barely been in the east side, man. I don't want to be there. When you go there, you don't want to be there. It's the hood. South side, I've been to the hood of Big Spring, Texas. It's a little bit unsettling, but you go there. Sometimes you have to be in there. Sometimes you know people who live in there, and you give them a ride home or something. Alright, so shoot, man, if some of y'all out there are like me, you've been through the hood from time to time, and you've seen what goes on in the hood. Alright, let's just use our critical thinking. How much you want to suppose that this man was out there reading a book? He's a 43-year-old man. He's got 7 children. He doesn't have a steady job. And he's hanging out in the hood. Waiting on something or other. How much you want to bet he's reading a book in the middle of the day? When's the last time you ever seen that? You ain't never seen that. The book somehow looks like a gun. I saw a picture of a gun on the ground. He must have a gun book or something like that. Alright, so I've heard different stories. I mean, of course, I heard that he had a gun. And he got shot in the hood for whatever reason by a black police officer who has a black police chief. And so riots ensued these past couple days. We're talking about all sorts of damage. People got beat down. People got beat up and down. Right. Some people got killed. That ain't the first time. I don't know if you ever heard of Ferguson. People got killed there too. Not by the police, by black people. Because they understood that the police were not going to come save you from getting killed, and so they killed you. And so that's what happened again out here in Charlotte. And all sorts of stuff. We're going to see if the riots continue into tonight. I certainly hope that they don't. But when is the last time you've seen a 43-year-old man in the hood reading a book? I know you've seen the elderly do it. I've seen it too. At like a bus stop. A 43-year-old man with 7 children and no steady job reading a book. September the 22nd, 2016. Hey y'all, it's me again. September the 22nd, 2016. I've been talking about some police shootings of black people and riots and just in certain precarious situations recently. It's very important. All right. I've seen where that guy got shot. Dang it. I forget where. Not Charlotte, but the other one. Let me stop and think about it. The one in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That one's also been pumped all over the television. Alright, the Tulsa, Oklahoma one absolutely looks, in the video, like a wrongful shooting of this black man. Broke down right in the middle of the road. Alright, but first of all, here's what I have to throw out. I have to throw this out to you. Let's think about this. Amongst all these police shootings that we've seen over the past couple of years, you start to understand when you're studying these shootings that more and more evidence will come out of the woodwork, and lots of times the road will twist and turn when it comes to figuring out what exactly took place. You're going to find more witness testimonial, more evidence is going to come to light. So thing is, we've only seen a couple videos that last for a certain amount of time. We need to see more evidence and find out what all took place that led up to this that event. And that's not to say that this black man wasn't completely innocent. You know what I'm saying? He looks like he is. That's what I'm going to go on right now. But we need to see more evidence, obviously. All right? That's what I've learned from all these police shootings, because you want to think one thing, but then you find out something else. All right? So we had to be patient, but also, you got that Charlotte, North Carolina shooting, and also the riots happening. All right? Me personally, I don't really subscribe. I don't really subscribe to these races. You know what I'm saying? I go out of the races of the Bible. You notice that the Bible doesn't even talk about people as white people and black people, but different other races. Alright? But anyways, okay. These black people get together. They call themselves black. They're in the cult of black people. They get together after one of them has been shot by the police for whatever reason. They live in the hood. A lot of bad stuff happens. A lot of people have to be saved by the police, but it don't really matter, because sometimes black people get shot, and so the other black people, they rise up, and it seems like in a lot of these cases, you're noticing that a mad riot ensues, and what happens is a lot of damage, and then sometimes, maybe half the time, someone winds up getting killed. I mean, people will kill each other just because they think that they can get away with it because it's a riot, right? It's like that one movie or whatever, The Purge. I still never seen that movie, but it's kind of like that. It's a riot atmosphere, right? What I had to explain is, okay, let's assume that one in Tulsa, Oklahoma was completely a murder and it was all messed up, okay? Well, fine, like there's something wrong there, something wrong happening, and something needs to be alleviated. A riot's not going to help at all, and from what I understand, there hasn't been any riots in Tulsa, Oklahoma anyway. However, in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, this guy with a lengthy criminal record, and it seems like he has a gun. He also gets shot by what they call a black police officer, and then riots break out. Like, what I'm trying to explain to you is this. If you have a city, you live in a city where there happens to be a whole lot of people who refer to themselves as black people, or something like that, they might very well live in the hood. Alright, so when one of them gets shot by the police for any reason, and it could be a lot of reasons, they're in the hood. Alright, when one gets shot, that is extremely bad, and they create a riot. It doesn't have to make sense. Alright, they're gonna yell white supremacy. They're gonna yell it, regardless, without fail. They're gonna yell and chant white supremacy and talk about killing cops. Alright, it does not have to make any sense or logic. They don't have to really have a truly legitimate reason to be angry. However, they're going to get angry, real angry, and all stirred up, and cause a riot, which the riot wouldn't help to begin with. Alright, the riot is disastrous regardless, but they start a riot off of information that does not make a lick of sense. Alright, so what I'm trying to say to you is, we're all playing the lottery right now, I guess you would say. If you have a town, and this part of this town is filled up with people who call themselves the black people, if something random goes down there, it's a chance that riots will ensue, and who knows where they'll spill over to. Who knows? It doesn't have to make sense. So we're all playing the lottery right now, and it's not a hard lottery to win, as Ferguson's finding out, as Charlotte's finding out, as hopefully not Tulsa will be finding out. But you know what? I'm forgetting about all these cities now. I mean, it's too many cities to remember where riots are breaking out, and they don't have to make any sort of sense at all. So you might want to get prepared for that, I guess, because it could happen to any one of us at any time. Because it is a tribulation and we're balls deep. It's bad and it's going to get worse. But you can get prepared for it and stuff. That's why we're here talking about it right now. That's why we're here. It's September the 22nd, 2016.